So you have a hand plane. Now you need to know what the anatomy of a hand plane is. So for beginners from the beginning, here we go. Lever cap. This is what holds your blade in place. It's got this little kidney-shaped opening that slides over this screw that goes down into the frog, and your blade sits on that. And the screw here that holds the blade together fits down into this nice little slot down here. This is our lateral adjuster, so this allows us to move our blade side to side, and it fits into this slot right up in here. This screw here going in, that controls how much tension there's going to be on our lever cap, so we can adjust that in and out. We don't want that too tight because we want to be able to operate this lever adjustment here on the side to side. So if we've got our screw here too tight and our lever cap too tight, then you can't adjust the lateral adjuster on your plane. There are two screws in here in what's called the frog. They simply lock the frog down into the base of the plane. And there's an adjustment here on the back, down here at the bottom. That screw takes this frog and moves it fore and aft on the plane of the body. And where you want that to be set basically is, if I'm looking down the plane of the frog here, right at this opening here in the sole of my plane, I want that face to be sitting just slightly proud of where that opening is. I don't want my blade to be supported on the back by the body itself. I want it completely supported by the frog. The adjustment here on the back, this piece here, this knob here, brings our blade in and out. So what it does is it operates on this clevis right here. And one direction will pull the blade in to get more cut depth on it. The other one backs it out, so we'll take less of a cut. When you go from taking it out to having it go forward again to get your blade further into the wood, make a deeper cut, there's a lash. There's a bit of a margin between going forward and going backwards. And what you want to do is you want to make up for that little bit of lash in there. And it's usually about 3/4 of a turn on that knob. So when you're pushing your blade down in to your wood to get the depth of your cut, you want that lash to go forward, so that yoke is always pushing on the front end of the blade here to make your adjustment. That way the blade can't back out at all and can't move out. So always have your lash taken up and always have your pressure going down on your blade to hold it into the frog and into the base here, so that it doesn't have a chance while you're pushing on it to cut the wood to move back on it at all. When it comes to the tote and the knob is on the front. The biggest thing there is just keep that snug and tight. You don't want it to get loose on there. If it loosens up, then you run the risk of the pressure going on it to make the cut. You run the risk of cracking that. So keep it snug. You don't have to get gorilla on it, but you want to keep it nice and snug so it'll stay on there. Same thing with your tote back here in the back. You've got a screw here that you need to have pretty snug. A lot of times you'll see planes that have cracks or breaks in the tote back here. One, it happens because they're dropped off of a bench onto a floor and it takes this horn and busts that off. But two, if this screw is loose and it's not compressing that wood down into the sole of your plane, it can break in the middle. So you don't want that to happen. Oftentimes they can be repaired, but you don't want to have to do that if you can prevent it. So just keep that nice and tight. Keep the one on the front of it here nice and tight as well. This front screw comes into play. Anything beyond a Stanley number 4 will have that on it. So number 4, 5, or the 5 and above will always have that on it. We're going to set this down in there, get it in so we're going forward. We're going to lock our lever cap back on there. And again, you don't want that too tight because you want to be able to move your lateral adjuster. I've got it too tight there. Back it out just a touch, push it down again. You just want it snug so it clips over like that. That's real good. And then lastly, you have the lateral adjuster, which moves your blade basically this way. So if my blade is cutting too high on one side and not on the other, I can move that back and forth to basically rock that blade in there this way. And I can tell whether my blade is going to be sticking out too high on one side or too high on the other. And if you look really close at this, let me get that lateral adjuster on there. You can see how that blade moves in there. Now I'm real high on this side, real low on that side. Move it back to the high side, and it's going to take that blade and it's going to move it the other direction. So I can make sure that my edge of my blade is perfectly parallel and perfectly flat with the base of my hand plane here. So I want to keep that in, and that's what the lateral adjuster does. And I like to take it out so I can see that adjustment, see where we're at there. And then I'm going to take it all the way back it all the way out so there's none of the blades sticking out of the face of the plane. Back that all the way out until I got nothing coming through there. And that's where I want to start. So I got nothing cutting on there. And then I can take my lash back out of it and I can creep up on making that cut happen by just adding typically increments of about a half of a turn. And you can see there we've got just a little bit coming out of that side. If I turn it over and get the other side here, I can see that I've got nothing coming there. So I'm too high on this side of my blade and not enough on this side. So I'm going to lower that side down a little bit. Get a little bit of a cut off of that side. A little bit of a cut off of that side. That way I know my blade is nice and perfectly flat. I can run it across there. Make those cuts real nice. Now, reducing that friction when you're making your cut is important. With this one, Benjamin and I just restored it. So I hit it with Johnson's paste wax, the whole thing. Every bit of it's got wax on it. Good when you're restoring just to kind of preserve everything and all that. But when I'm using it day to day, I always just take a white crayon, scribble it on there, and that basically waxes that surface and makes it slide over my material a whole ton easier. Get rid of all that resistance. Make that thing slide across there nice and easy. That's what I like to do. And you can see that wax will get used up. And like I said, I keep a white crayon with me all the time. Always got one on my bench back here. I've always got one in my apron pocket. My grandkids don't have any white crayons anymore. It just seems to work really well. So go ahead and use that as part of your daily maintenance and use of your planes. And it'll last you and it'll do a lot of great work for a whole lot of years.